Ladies and gentlemen, may I welcome you to an unprecedented and historic event. In light of the dissident Dave Hardman's regular answer to all problems, I blame the selectors. The entire selection committee has agreed to an open, no-holds-barred press conference to satisfy any doubts anyone might have and provide an insight into the minds of these most inscrutable men.
May I present to you fifth selector, Nick Hopkins.
Hello.
First team captain, Phil Green.
Good evening.
First team vice captain, Matt Green.
Good evening.
Second team captain, Mr. John Dixon. And second team vice captain, Martin Anderson.
First question, please.
Have you decided on a formula for the composition of teams?
We actually experimented quite a lot last year without much effect. This year we're going for a very simple policy, and we've settled for fielding two sides of 11 players.
Isn't it true that second team needs are inadequately voiced in meetings?
Well, I think we can answer that one individually, really.
No.
No.
No. John, Martin?
Well, I think that's his all, really.
What about Mark Simerson?
What about Mark Simpson?
Have you clarified his role in the club? First team batsman and bowler, first team batsman or second team bowler, first team bowler or second team batsman, second team batsman and bowler, or second team batsman or second bowler or second team batsman?
No.
Is this the same problem you had with Chris Morton?
Oh no! Everyone knew what Chris's role in the club was.
Fielder.
Bowler!
Can I ask at this moment about the India tour? Was that abandoned for political reasons?
No, ranking competence.
Any news on Chris?
Yes, we understand that Chris is currently working on a software package for Thomas Cook.
How successful has your youth policy been?
Very successful. Yes, very successful. We upheld club tradition stoutly, and this in a nutshell is to keep youngsters out almost entirely. However, one or two youngsters did slip through the net.
Like James Hartley?
No, I don't like you very much.
Oh, I quite like him.
Nice hair.
But, really. Next question.
We're now seeing the erection of a fence round the grounds and security dog patrols. Doesn't this rather go against the current feeling of glass lost in the West? And does it signal a return to totalitarian and undemocratic rule?
Next question, please.
The fence does provide an environmental problem. Does the committee have any clear code of practice on environmental issues?
Well, we have always pursued green policies.
Could you be more specific?
Yes, Tony Green,
Vin Green?
Steve Green?
Tom Green, Martin Green, could go on.
And how successful have these been?
Well, turning Tom Green into a human recycling plant has been a great success.
But how are you reacting to a report that cited Tom Wainwright and Mark Simpson's head throwing as the greatest threat to the ozone layer?
Yes, serious problem, but next year we're going to make them field on their heads.
What effect will this have?
Well, twofold we hope. If they do throw their heads, then they might do a useful bit of hollow tining. And if they just keep their mouths open, they'll almost certainly feel a lot better.
How do you answer the charge, heard at Woodseats police station, that the crack is still pretty good at De La Salle?
I'd like to take that.
Yes, I
one.
think you better.
You'll excuse me if I read from a prepared statement. The case is sub judice, and I'm limited in what I can say. We're the first to admit that we've had a crack problem in the past. Since crack baron Peter Wright was sentenced to 4 years at Abbeydale, we've managed to keep the crack on the field down. But in the bar, I've heard youngsters starting off on soft crack-like sarcasm and even irony. We hope to set an example by presenting a clean-cut, straight-talking image. Wouldn't you agree, John? And Martin?
I'm sorry, I missed that.
I think Martin said 2 pork pies and a Sutherland's potted beef sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
How do you defend the recent cuts in the DLS health budget?
Well, I resent that question actually.
If I could just come in at that point, I do feel qualified to answer that question, being an ex-official of the Health and Safety Executive. If you study the amount in real terms that we have allocated to healthcare, then you'll see that real spending has increased by 15%. Indeed, we doubled our stocks of Elastoplast, and my colleague, Mr. Green, provided a bottle of TCP.
I think Pete must have drunk that actually.
I think that's quite right.
Do you have a bad record on human rights?
We had a worse problem with Peter Wright.
Is De La Salle about to be privatised?
There's actually very little I can say at this stage. It would be unfair to the parties involved. However, I can say that we've had some offers. City surveyors have considered diversifying into cricket, but they pulled out of the bidding when it got up to £3.75. We're now looking at a package to put different sections out to tender, and Linda Wainwright PLC has agreed to do the teas. We're also planning to turn showers and toilets into pay-as-you-bathe facilities. Reductions for those known not to get up a sweat.
Still with finance, is the ever-rising interest rate being mirrored in the club?
Unfortunately not. Even Jim Finnegan Sr. hasn't shown much interest in watching us this year.
What do you put this down to?
The devaluation of the duck.
Which was due to?
The galloping duck rate.
How many ducks were there last year?
44.
How many golden ducks?
18.
So, how many ordinary ducks?
26.
What's a Bombay duck?
It's a fish.
What's the capital of India?
Delhi.
What's the chemical formula for Epsom salts?
MgSO4 7H2O.
Who was the male lead opposite Jane Fonda in the film Clute?
Oh, could we confer on that? Martin, yes. It was Sutherland, Donald Sutherland.
On what quotation is Strauss's Capriccio based?
Prima la parole, dopo la musica. What is more important in opera? Words or emphasis?
What are the 3 rules of quality of determining whether a syllogistic argument is valid or invalid?
No conclusion can follow from 2 negative premises.
If either premise is negative, the conclusion must be negative.
And a negative conclusion cannot follow from 2 affirmative premises.
7 ex-De La Salle cricketers took part in a 100-yard dash. This was their position when the first one crossed the line. Dave finished half a yard behind Pete, Pat finished half a yard in front of Sam. Sam finished in front of Dave, Keith had more than 3 behind him. Tony finished 1 yard in front of Sam, Dick finished half a yard in front of Keith. There was not less than half a yard between any 2 men. In what order did they finish?
Dick,
Keith.
Tony,
Pat,
Sam.
Pete.
and Dave Hardman.
Who will win the Keith Lax?
Beep, 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 beep.
I've started, so I'll finish. Who will win the Keith Lax and Norman Moody Cups in 1990? And you may answer.
De
La
La
Salle.
Salle.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now bugger off to the bar.
Alright.